today. And my first question is why we are here. I am here, I'm a member of the teaching staff, and I'm on a minimum wage, fixed-term contract, and soon to be unemployed, like more and more academics today. Paradoxically, this is why I'm not scared to speak against management. The fact is they can't make me much worse. In fact, this is what this campaign is all about. And it's so important. It's not just a local dispute about terms and conditions. This campaign has revealed the reality and implications of privatisation for all of us working in education. This campaign has revealed the reality, and that reality is the worsening of workers' conditions under the guise of new management lingo and apparently expertise. And its implications are the entrenchment of secretive, top-down and unilateral decision-making in the public sector. This management sacked 110 academic staff 2 years ago. So it's no surprise that people who escaped that purge are today scared of speaking out. But coincidental or not, and let's not give them too much credit, this manoeuvre didn't take into account a few zealously determined student and staff activists. A massive, massive thank you to all of you and for everything you've done. You have continued the fight, and you are why we are here today. Where thousands of people, from cleaners to professors, local residents to welfare supporters, are saying no. We are saying no to an absolutist managerial elite arrogantly controlling our public institutions, as if it was their divine right. We are saying no to the backward and economically unfounded plan to put transnational market conditions in front of local and cooperative initiatives. And we are saying yes to students and workers, lecturers and job seekers to get over their class differences and years of institutional separation, to stand together today, tomorrow, and for as long as no one is ever again scared to resist, and to stand up for what we think is right. Yeah, I'm getting angry now. So let this day be a hallmark for the way in which we organise. Let it be a proof that we are not self-interested individuals. We are not just fighting for better pay or better holidays. We are here because we want our community, that is every single person who has part in the functioning of our public institutions, to be in control. We are here because we do not want to be controlled. And if we stay together, we will never be. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Michael Chester. I'm from the National Campaign Against Fees and Cuts, and I come here from London. I managed to come from London to a demo somewhere else. You know, I'm not a fan of top table speaking, so I'll keep it brief, but there were like two things that I kind of wanted to say about what's going on in Sussex at the moment, and how it seems from the outside. The first is obvious. It's inspiring. It's inspiring that the movement that started at Millbank in 2010 has found a voice that cannot be shot down by cops with rubber bullets, that cannot be ground down by faceless managers, unelected, unaccountable, that cannot be left out, washed out by bureaucrats in a washed out field in Kennington. We found a voice here today that will not die and will not go away. And the other thing is that from the outside, for those other generations who look on at student struggles over the last few years, this whole thing seems kind of surprising. It's kind of surprising that a generation of people born after supposedly all of the alternatives to neoliberalism and to capitalism had passed away. Born after all of that, where marketisation and privatisation seemed the only way to go, that we fought back and we're still fighting back and we won't go away. But that's old news, because here's the thing, the people who do all of this, They claim to be the future. The management's not just at Sussex, but across the country on every campus that are extorting us, that are forcing our staff to take bad conditions, that are turning our universities into factories and shops. These people claim to be the future, and in well written out bureaucratic documents they spell out their strategic plans. Well, I think this looks a lot more like the future than that. And we talk about fighting for the future of education. Don't be fooled. The reforms that our managers and this government are putting through are not the future for education. They will take it back to the 19th century. And when we talk about education, and when we talk about fighting for the future of our campuses, nothing's so trivial. The fight for education, the fight for the welfare state is not just a defensive manoeuvre, it is not just a defensive battle. We are fighting for nothing less than the liberation of humanity in the 21st century. And that can seem difficult to look like when you're in your classes, but when you take over your campuses, we can do it. So, let's function.
Our spoken word favourites, I'd like to introduce, are you ready? Fabulous, alright. For the second part, we've got Caitlin HG, and I think some of you might know her, some of you? Brilliant, alright, here she comes.
Thanks, even on the chair I'm tiny, so hopefully some of you can see me. I've been involved with the occupation for a while, and it's really inspired me, and I hope that's inspired you. And I hope you'll come and get involved with the occupation as well as being involved here today. So this is a poem that I wrote called Don't Die, Occupy, about how I feel about being involved in this movement, and specifically being up in that amazing space like Don't Die. First foot in the door and you're sure that this place is electric. Second step and there's no going back. Because this feeling is so much more than you expected, and you never even knew there was a lack of community in your life until you found it. You've had friends before, but this is something new. There's something in the air that feels profound, it feels hopeful, it feels loving, it feels true. And you find yourself discussing change with vigor and believing what you say the world can be. And you feel like you are part of something bigger, not just a student at a university, but a member of a movement for the future, for workers' livelihoods, respect and true free choice. And when you leave this place, you speak a little clearer, because you've realised that there's power in a voice, and in a body, and the spaces you fill with it. And for now at least there's hope that change will come. And though perhaps you don't believe in happy endings, and you understand that good can be undone, you see that something that was broken now is mending. And suddenly your outlook's not so bleak. You came up here just to listen to one speaker. One day you'll wake up and you'll find you've stayed a week. And so you learn this kind of action is contagious, because community creates a sense of home. Now when we witness an injustice to enrage us, we will know we won't be fighting it alone. And so you leave here with that knowledge. They can't take that. Though they may remove us, they may even win. All that seems solid now will surely leave us, but there's no way they can own what lies within. So you smile and say you're in it for the long haul. They can drag us out, they'll still be in the wrong. And in the meantime, we can show them what we're made of. We'll make sure they don't forget us when we're gone. Thank you. Come and join us in the occupation, it's great.
Brothers and sisters, it's wonderful that such support has come from so many people across the city and beyond in support of the occupation. I'm Gary Assel, I'm the branch secretary of the RMT, the National Union of Rail Maritime Workers in the city, and I bring fraternal greetings from our General Secretary, Brother Bob Crow, and our President, Peter Pinkney. What the people are doing here sends a clear message to the Chancellor and those who are managing this site that the privatisation of their education is not welcome. And I bring the same message that the privatisation of the railways and the transport system is not welcome. Solidarity, brothers and sisters, solidarity.
Caroline Lucas says, I'm sorry that million MP. I don't MP. I'm the messenger. I'm passing through. Anyway, sorry. I am pleased to send my support to all those students and staff at the University of Sussex who are taking a stand against the university's proposed privatisation plans. It is deeply concerning that the decision to outsource university services has been made with so little transparency or consultation. I've raised these fears with the management and I'm still waiting for an answer as to why it refused to consider any in-house service improvement plan, instead presenting doing nothing as the only alternative to outsource. The university now has a duty to listen to the concerns of staff, trade union representatives and students who are today challenging the privatisation agenda in education. That's why I've tabled an early day motion which expresses deep concern at the government's promotion of the commercialisation of the higher education sector and which calls on Sussex and other universities to oppose moves to turn universities into businesses and students into consumers. Alright, we're going to pass it. We have someone from the Brighton Benefits Council. No?
For speaking up. And I want to leave you finally in last with
fight and be heard. We will fight for our universities. And we will do this by any means possible. No thanks. Right. I've been asked to announce something, please. Quite exciting, isn't it? Over the last few weeks, staff members affected by this and other staff members and a lot of students in occupation have been getting together and we have
235! See, I don't think that was convincing. 235! Much better. Alright, so we've got Katie Clark joining us today. She's one of the members of Parliament who has signed the early day motion. I think thus far we have 11, is that correct? 11? Fantastic. Okay, so we're passing her on now. Thank you so much, Katie, for coming. You're behind me. Okay, I'm going down. See you.
Thank you very much. My name is Katie Clark. I'm a Labour MP for North Ayrshire and Arran, which is a long, long way away from you today. But the issues facing people in that part of Scotland are exactly the same issues facing you here now. I'm here to pay tribute to the 7 weeks the occupation has been ongoing and to bring solidarity. Your fight is the fight of students up and down the country. It's the fight of all those involved in education up and down the country, and it's all of our fights. Because reality is, the threat of privatisation is a threat to everybody. The reality is, we've already seen huge privatisation in this country. We've been at the forefront of the privatisation in Europe. Whether that's the railways, whether that's the probation services, whether that's been the public sector. And the reality is, what's happening now throughout Europe, is, the reality is, unless people unite, unless the trade union movement, the labour movement, students, people up and down this country unite in the fight against privatisation, the fight against austerity, none of us will have the future. What we are seeing at the moment is the victories that ordinary working people have fought for generation after generation, torn up by this government and government throughout the West. Our movement is based on the struggles of people who have fought for the right to vote, the welfare state, the National Health Service, for social provision, for social security benefits. And the ideology of the ruling class of austerity is tearing all of that up. Whether it was the vote on workfare last Tuesday, whether it's the privatisation with the American companies coming in to take over the National Health Service in England, people in Scotland say it's nothing to do with us because we've got a devolved parliament. But the reality is, if you allow those countries into England, the same will happen in Scotland. The privatisation of the public sector that's taken place in Britain over the last 2 decades is a privatisation that those in Greece and those in Cyprus are going to suffer now. It's the same companies that have privatise parts of the public sector in England and Wales that are the ones that are privatising in Greece. I'm here to give solidarity. Austerity isn't working. Privatisation won't work. Selling off our education to the private sector will be a disaster for this generation and generations to come. Good luck in your struggle. Thank you.
On university management. So they're assigned to companies that come onto campus, like Sodexo, that they can fuck off. They are not having our services. We have shut the campus down. And now let's do a brief shout out to see if anyone can find Alfie Meadows.